I very often tell the story of how I didn't get into the college that I had my heart set on, and how that was the best thing to ever happen to me.
Welcome to the Sum of Everything podcast, where we discuss a little bit of a lot of topics, ranging from spirituality to finance and everything in between. I'm your host Aishwarya, a serial hobbyist with an unquenchable thirst for learning, especially through new experiences. In this podcast, we will scratch every itch of curiosity, explore various perspectives, step out of our comfort zone, and experience some of everything. Because after all, we are just that, a sum of all our experiences. So, let's dive right in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sum of Everything podcast. Today's episode is going to be something very interesting and something very relevant to everyone who has ever been disappointed that things didn't go their way. But before I start, I just want to say that I am recording on my brand new mic that I just got yesterday, and it is fantastic. Oh my God, this mic is fantastic. It picks up every little sound. And so that's a little bit of a problem, to be honest, because I don't have any kind of soundproofing whatsoever. So I have to try and make everybody go really, really quiet before I start recording, but it's super amazing and the sound quality is absolutely epic. So if you actually find any difference in the sound quality, let me know. And if you don't, well, I've been using the right kind of audio cleaning software. So anyway, back to topic. As you have probably figured out, today we are going to discuss how to deal with rejection. I'm sure all of us at some point or the other in our lives have faced rejection, whether small or big. If you've at all been in society, you know that not everything goes your way all the time. Maybe you didn't get picked for some school sports event that you really wanted to, or an annual day, or maybe you didn't get into the college that you had your heart set on, or you didn't get a job that you interviewed for and really, really wanted to get, or you had a breakup with a person that you thought that you were going to spend the rest of your life with. I don't know. Rejections come in all forms. Today, I feel like I faced a rejection when the domestic help Didi broke my favorite mug that my sister made for me and gave me my favorite everyday coffee mug that I use every morning to drink coffee, and that's just exclusively for me. She broke it today, and I'm still dealing with the loss of it, because what am I going to drink my coffee in tomorrow? Just a regular mug? That's not how I roll. Anyway, jokes apart. So yeah, we do face rejections in all shapes and forms and sizes and all kinds of rejections. But the thing is, how do we deal with it? Do we always just, sit with our head between our hands and just say, oh my God, why has this happened to me? Why does this always happen to me? Why do I never get what I want? Or do you look for a different perspective, one that allows you to not just move on, but look at things from a positive light? Now, you may or may not have heard people around you say or seen on social media that rejection is redirection, which is the topic of today's episode. But what does that really mean? Rejection is redirection. Well, every time I hear somebody talk about how they didn't get something that they really, really wanted, I have one story that I always tell people. Back in 12th standard, which honestly today feels like a different lifetime, but back in 12th grade, I was preparing for the common law admission tests, which are the entrance exams for the national law universities in India. Now, depending on your performance in the CLAT and your ranking, which is a national ranking, you get admission into the national law schools, depending on both their ranking in India as well as what you have chosen in the application form that you filled. The top 3 universities are the National Law School, Bangalore, Nalsar, Hyderabad, and WBNUJS, Kolkata. Now, being the high achiever that I was absolutely 100% sure that I had to get into NLS Bangalore or nothing else will do. I had my heart set on NLS Bangalore because it was the top law school in the country. I had done all kinds of research about the hostel, about the library, about, the different clubs that were there. I'd really dived deep into everything that I could learn about NLS without actually going to NLS. My father, incidentally, had gotten transferred from Mumbai to Bangalore at that point, and I saw that as a sign. My uncle told me that his company did some work in NLS. I think it was related to Wi-Fi or something like that. And I was like, hey, that's sign number 2. I'm definitely getting into this law school. So after my board exams, I put my heart and soul into prep. And even the coaching classes that I went to, the person who was the legal aptitude teacher there was kind of shocked that the only 2 exams that I was writing or I was taking was the CLAT and the entrance exams for Symbiosis Law School. And he was, taken aback. He's like, Aishwarya, are you sure you're going to be able to get through? Are you sure you're going to crack CLAT like that? And I was just so confident. And I was like, yes, I will 100% crack CLAT and get into the top university. Fast forward to the day of the results. Now, that particular year, both the CBSE 12th standard results as well as the CLAT results were going to be announced on the same day. The 12th board results came and I had topped school, it turns out, and also secured a state rank, incidentally. Everybody was congratulating me. Everybody was super happy. My parents couldn't contain their glee. They had, in fact, gone to my sister's new school for orientation, and my mother was just so happy that other parents around her asked her why she was so excited. And she told them that her daughter had just topped her school in 12th. She was ecstatic. Everybody around me was, and so was I. I was very excited because I had worked really hard for my 12th boards as well. And, the hard work had paid off. A few hours later, the CLAT results were announced, and it was shocking, to say the least. It put a complete damper on my day, a day that I should have been in school celebrating with my friends, which I couldn't because we had already moved to Bangalore by then. I was just so heartbroken because, according to the ranking list, I had been admitted or allocated to a law school that I hadn't even considered going to. Forget top 3, it wasn't even in the top 10. And I was completely shattered. All the euphoria of having topped school, of having done so well in the board exams, just completely evaporated. I remember so clearly that when my parents came home that day from my sister's school, I opened the door and burst into tears because I felt like my entire future had gone down the drain. All that I had worked for had completely vanished. But my parents calmed me down and then reminded me that I had still the Symbiosis entrance test that I had cleared, and I had been selected for the group discussion and interview stage. So all hope was not lost. And a few days later, my father and I left for Pune from Bangalore, where the interview was to be held. Now, incidentally, what happened during this 2-3 day trip between departing for Pune and returning to Bangalore was that it was announced that the CLAT results had been messed up, the ranking list had been distorted, and that a new, fresh ranking list would be published because there were a lot of errors in the first one. So then I thought, okay, maybe, just maybe, something better will come around. I knew, based on the marks that I had got, that there was no way I was getting into NLS for sure, because NLS would only take around 50 students in the general category. And I had absolutely no hope of being in the top 50. However, it turns out that when the fresh list came, I had been accepted into NUJS, which was one of the top 3 universities. Now, I have to say that until I actually saw my name on that list across WBNUJS, I didn't even know the right placement of the letters in that acronym. That is to say that that's how obsessed I was with NLS, and that's how completely oblivious I was to anything that was not NLS. By the way, WBNUJS stands for West Bengal National University of Juridical Sciences, potentially one of the most complicated names of the universities in the National Law School rankings up until then. And the full form of WBNUJS was routinely asked to freshers as a question during the quote-unquote positive interaction sessions. So anyway, soon after, 18-year-old me set off to Calcutta with absolutely no expectations, nor the full force of realization having struck that I would be spending 5 whole years in Calcutta, which incidentally also happens to be the city where my father started his career. Those 5 years today seem like a blur, but it was, and I'm sure most people will agree with me when I say this about college life, the best years of my life. Now, it wasn't the city of Calcutta or the college itself that made it an amazing experience. What made that half a decade my most cherished time so far is unquestionably the friends that I made. I met a group of 6 amazing girls on day 1 of college. And this group of girls, 6 plus me included 7, this group of 7 girls, we are friends even today. It has been 12 years since the day we met and said our first highs to one another. And even today, we are as tight as can be. They are my family. And that, I think, is the biggest blessing and the most important thing that the universe or God or higher power or whoever you believe in delivered to me. I don't think I would have gotten that anywhere else. I had to be at the right place at the right time, and by denying me the happiness that I would have gotten on having been accepted into NLS Bangalore, and by putting me, rather redirecting me to NUJS instead, the universe did me the biggest favor it has done to me till date. Because it brought into my life these amazing 6 girls and brought me into the lives of these beautiful girls. Of course, in hindsight, it's easier for me to reflect on this and to tell this story with such a positive mindset. But at that time, I had absolutely no idea. And the best thing I did at that time was to set off on my journey with no expectations and just accept what came my way and tread on. Since then, I've had many experiences with lots of different rejections. Each time, it has been my experience that it has always been for the better. Because when something didn't go my way, of course I would be sad, but I soon came to realize that what came instead was just so much better. I am currently working in a job that came to me as a result of redirection, and it was the best thing that could have happened to me at that time. Even today, I'm one of the few people I know in my circles who doesn't hate her job. I, in fact, really like my job. And that's not something you hear a lot of lawyers say. I can name several such instances where time and time again, I have realized in hindsight that when something didn't go my way, when I was faced with rejection, what came instead was so much better and was in fact what I needed rather than what I thought I wanted at the time. Of course, it's easier to have these realizations in hindsight, to look back and say, thank God I didn't get that job. Thank God I didn't get into that school. Or, thank God that relationship didn't materialize. I'm so much better now. But that's reflecting on the past. So what is it that we can do when we are in the present and dealing with rejection? Faith. Have faith. Have faith that the universe has your back. Have faith that your worth is not simply decided by that one rejection that you're facing. That something better is going to come. Something that is actually worth your while and something that will respect you for the value that you bring to the table. I know that faith can be hard to have, but that faith is what is going to result in gratitude over time. Because you're going to be grateful that the universe didn't give you what you wanted, because what it gave you is just so much better. So think about the rejections that you might be currently going through or have gone through in the past. Reflect on what came instead and see how it made your life better than it would have been had you gotten what you wanted. And if you're going through something right now, have faith, because that faith is very soon going to turn into gratitude. Gratitude to the universe, gratitude to what comes into your life instead, and gratitude to yourself, because you held the faith and you didn't back down and you didn't give up. So yeah, I very often tell the story of how I didn't get into the college that I had my heart set on and how that was the best thing to ever happen to me. And that's the episode. Friends, if you liked it, please drop me a message, DM me on Instagram, and do follow me on Instagram. I'd love to interact with you there. The link will be in the description below. And drop me a line, share your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.